Hey guys, this is Tyler with the Mr. Plotbuster channel, and tonight we're talking about some beer and some Blu-rays. Let's get started.
So many times I've seen my shadow hovering over that sweetness I know, when all of a sudden I've needs from below. Who's it for me now? I'm hungering.
Okay, hi again guys. Again, this is Tyler with the Mr. Plotbuster channel. And like I said, tonight we're doing some beer and some Blu-rays. So let's start off with some beer. This, for all you dark beer drinkers, this is a phenomenal beer. It's by Ninkasi Brewing Company out of Eugene, Oregon. Here's a shot of the bottle. This is called their Oatis. It's a Oatmeal Stout, and they're out of Eugene, Oregon. You can get this. You might want to try them on their website, but I know you can probably get it through beertrek.com. And this is a real chocolatey, smooth, mild oatmeal stout. This is one of my favorites. I love it. And like I said, tonight we're talking about some Blu-rays. So these are all ones that I've picked up within the last month. There's 4 films that I want to talk about tonight. Just going to do some brief summaries and brief review of what I thought. Take it with a grain of salt. Whether you agree or disagree, I still encourage you to check all of them out. So, first up is an older film, and then the other 3 are going to be foreign language films that are all really good. The first one up is an old one from 1971. It's Straw Dogs, the original. There's a remake that came out in 2011. This one is starring Dustin Hoffman and Susan George. It's directed by Sam Peckinpah. And what this film is about is Dustin Hoffman plays a mathematician who marries this smoking hot British chick, Susan George, and he wants her to be happy, so he moves her back to England, to this countryside village where she grew up. And there's an old fling of Susan George's character that's still around town. Him and his buddies, they're kind of around the same age, and they just really haven't done anything with their life. They're kind of the local barfly in a sense. And somehow Dustin Hoffman ends up hiring these guys to work on his garage, and while they're doing that, they're totally infatuated with his wife, one in particular who used to be a fling of hers. And they're kind of always poking fun at Dustin Hoffman and pulling pranks whenever they can with him. And then she kind of gets fed up with what's going on, and she wants him to fire them. She wants Dustin Hoffman to fire them, and he's like really trying to be like, hey, let's be adults about this, like let's just let them finish the garage, they're harmless, whatever. And then a pretty significant incident occurs later on in the film, in the last half of the film, and actually a couple significant incidents, and it really shows Dustin Hoffman's character, who's this really kind of passive, peaceful person. It shows how somebody like that can go from one end of the spectrum to the complete opposite side, and just how far somebody can go if the right buttons are pushed. I really love that film, and I give that 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, on to the foreign language films that I have. First one comes out of Norway. It's Troll Hunter. It's kind of like a Blair Witch, quarantine, paranormal activity, that type of like a mockumentary. This is about 3 students in Norway that decide they want to pick up a camera and start doing a documentary about these weird occurrences that are happening that are involving bears, where livestock is being eaten and disappearing, and so what they do is they get wind that there's a bear poacher around in Norway, so they start following him, and he actually turns out to be a troll hunter. And what happened is that the government knew that these trolls existed and has tried to keep them contained, and now they're out and about they've broken through their containment area or whatever, and are starting to pretty much rain terror on the local farmers' livestock. So they follow this guy around, and just like what the film is called, they hunt trolls with him. And I thought the graphics were really good in this film. They're almost comical at times, but intentionally. This film does not take itself seriously in the least. But it was really entertaining film. I was never bored, and I really recommend this. The ending is so-so. The troll at the end was really cool, but the ending itself was typical of that type of these types of movies, these mockumentaries. But I really enjoyed it. Check it out. I would give that. I give Troll Hunter 3 out of 5 stars. Next up is from the Criterion Collection. This was a blind buy for me. In fact, all but the last one was a blind buy for me. Chungking Express. And this is spine number 453 on Blu-ray. So this is two separate stories about two different cops that are both experiencing the heartbreak of a breakup. And the first story starts out about a cop whose girlfriend's name was May, and she loved pineapple, and he's really heartbroken about it. So what he decides to do, I believe it's like April, it takes place on like April 30th. It's the last day of April. He decides to get 30 cans of pineapple, and all the cans of pineapple expire the next day on May 1st. And his way of thinking is he's going to eat all 30 of these cans of pineapple, and he, before May 1st, and he says to himself that if he doesn't hear back from her, or if they don't get back together, then like the cans of pineapple, he's just going to take it as their love has expired as well. And then, it kind of rabbit trails off to this other female character who's in the drug running business. We don't get to learn a lot about her. It's kind of vague. And then her and this first cop end up meeting at a bar, and they start to talk and have a couple drinks. And I don't want to ruin that the ending of that part of the story, so I'll just leave it at that. Then the film moves and shifts gears to the other cop, which is, they go by badge numbers. I think they say their name, but the first cop is 223. The second cop is number 662. And the second story I found to be much more appealing, about a cop whose flight attendant girlfriend has left him, and he walks the beat, and on the beat is this little food stand called the Midnight Express. At the Midnight Express works another young female by the name of Faye. And he and Faye kind of start to develop this unspoken relationship just from him visiting this food stand. And then suddenly a subtle friendship begins to blossom out of their relationship. And you're left rooting for them to get together. The events that take place are really cool, really kind of unique, and I really enjoyed it. All in all, this film I would give 3.5, almost a 4 out of 5 stars. I really could have done without the first story, which is the first 35 to 40 minutes. It just, there were certain aspects of it that I liked, but I didn't feel like you got to know the characters hardly at all enough to care about them as you did in the second story. I really appreciated the second story and would have rather have seen an entire film about the second two characters. Last up is another foreign language film, and this is definitely on my top 10 list of all-time favorites. It was released in 2002. This is City of God. It's in Portuguese. This film is like the hardcore version of Slumdog Millionaire. It's like comparable to almost Blood Diamond in a way. Just a phenomenal film. I can't say enough good things about this. What the film is about is a group of kids through the 60s and 70s in the City of God in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and just the hardships, trials, and tribulations that they have to go through. with their families and friends and loved ones, and the unending brutal violence that is taking place, corruption of the law enforcement, and how they're turning their eyes away from the crime and the violence that's going on within the slums. This is a great film. I recommend it to anybody who's willing to sit down, go through the subtitles, and really just ready to be absorbed into a reality that a lot of us don't want to acknowledge that ever existed or exists today, because stuff like this is going on. Awesome film, 5 out of 5. Again, one of my top favorites. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Your support is very much appreciated. Leave a comment below. Let's talk about some Blu-rays. Until next time, cheers.